investments that have been proven time and time again to be very profitable in terms of how valuable land is, especially in the beautiful city of San Diego, where the price will only go up for all investors and the people that are eager to own a home here. I can say investing in gold, silver, stocks, which I have a terrible experience with, all of those have a level of risk. Real estate has proven to be the most stable with very minor risks. I asked myself why as I started to gain interest in the real estate investing world. It's because property such as land only goes up. Yet, if there was an economical crash such as in 2008, housing prices, the 13% drop in home values in 2008 exceeds any of the drops that have been recorded in the past 50 years, and may rival or even top the declines of the Depression. Yet all of this bounced back due to the Fed having to sweeten the deal with a $30 billion guarantee. By 2012, the Fed had received full payment for its loan. My mentor along this journey of the real estate market was my grandfather, Fujio Adegawa, a prominent real estate investor who resides in Tokyo, Japan. He obtains holdings both in the United States and Japan. He has hotel, apartment complexes, even an apartment complex with my sister and my name on it, and condos due to prefectures in Tokyo, such as Ginza, Akibahara, Chofu, and Fuchu. On the US side, he owns land in Pacific Beach, La Jolla, and Point Loma, where all the tourist attractions, which means more bang for his buck. My mentor did not attend any four-year college, which I believe is very difficult if you want to be successful now in terms of modern day people trying to get a job. All his work was started off by his skills and having to learn everything from his father, my great-grandfather. He found out how to meet the right people to him to progress his dream of becoming his own boss. As he did become successful in his investing career, he started to create a character of a leader who had a wise eye on what would become more profitable, which helped him tremendously during the start of his career of 35 years now. In his profession, I noticed how he was the instructor, which began from appointing his staff on what to do, what they can do, and what they are capable of. I noticed we had to go venture off and find property, which at first I thought we would just be going in an office with rows of cubicles and copy paper being spitted out and stuff that I'm not interested in at all. Also, the experience-wise, I love the time spent with my grandfather through Skype call and being able to get really to know his sense of humor during his heavy workload with negotiators and buyers. He was so busy during the interview when I asked him questions due to his phone calls interrupting, but he was so eager and ready to listen to what his granddaughter had to say because we rarely talk. My mentor even told me personally that finding something I love to do will help me grow fondness towards life and others because I will always feel like I'm in an optimistic environment. Obviously, I cannot thank him face to face due to him being in Japan right now, plus the difficulty to get a hold of him because we are 16 hours behind Tokyo, Japan time. Yet, I still put a big thank you out into existence. I chose real estate investment because truthfully, ever since I was growing up, I always saw my grandfather had a lot of money. And the way his houses were set up, it was just so lavish, and I was like, wow, you're very rich. I was like, who has a 500-pound wooden door just to enter the house? So, some background information that I have learned about this job is investing involves the purchase, ownership, management, rental, and or sale of real estate for profit. Back to the point of why this became my practical choice is mainly because of making money. That only grows and stays with you most of the time you're involved with this job, because I'm sure none of you guys would like to lose any money. Especially when you create a bigger profile, longer resume of the amount of land and property I obtained throughout the years of work. My experience through this shadowing is something that can never be taken away from me because I got to see and learn all in one what real estate really is. I also love the short trips around the SoCal area to be able to look at the land in person for any needed inspections before the final transactions being made. It was something that attracted my generation of using technologies to taking pictures of a variety of property near beautiful beaches and other nice landmarks here in San Diego. Overall, my experience was nothing short of perfect. From the very first start of being introduced to this project, I became automatically nervous. Of course, when I was writing the papers, I felt comfortable because it was just an interview. You're just talking, asking questions that were already set up for us. As well as the interview feeling like something I wanted to do just because it made my grandfather proud of me, and it gave me an extra point for being the better granddaughter. As time got closer and it was time to do my hours shadowing in the real site where everything that was done, I panicked right when I set foot in the office because of all the pressure I felt. What made it worse is that I kept telling myself to not make myself look like an ignorant teenage girl, just coming in, asking for hours, and then leaving and never turning my back towards those grown-ups ever again. But that was not the case. I walked in on March 1st at 4:30 p.m. I was utterly overwhelmed with all the new vocabulary words that were not in my forte at all. I've never learned any of these words at school, so prior to the meeting, I already felt super behind. So as I was talking to the staff members, they're saying things such as like investments with profits, and I was like, oh, okay. They obviously saw that I didn't understand, so I would just say like, oh, what does that mean? And they would laugh, and they helped me. I expected a more serious and all gray looking area with thousands of the cubicles in rows ahead of me. Yeah, I got something very different from what I anticipated, which is nothing but exciting and fond-looking adults staring at me for a brief second and continuing with their work lives. As I shadowed, I witnessed that collaboration with your coworkers really opened doors for greater opportunities than most of the jobs out there. Collaborative work is way more than liking the person you are to work with one job, because one has time to have unnecessary drama in their workforce, which would stop them getting the job done. On the other hand, from what I have learned in high school personally, is that when we do group projects, there's always that one person that does not want to do the job. And you just have, in the work world, you just have to get past that, and you all have to do the job in order to have a perfected source out of that. Everyone has a voice of their own hands. Everyone has a voice of their own and hands of their own, which means that everyone needs to contribute all 100% out of your own knowledge. For future reference, I know that collaborative work will benefit me when I go into college at San Jose State, because I do know that most of classes will have group work most of the time, and I would need to know how to contribute to my part of the group work. My second ISO application would have to be that I saw a variety of social work being done at the office. I say this because whenever I walked into the office, I would see an abundance of people over at one desk talking about a project that they were going to recently tackle. And of course, since San Diego has a lot of real estate investors trying to buy the source of land, because this land is getting very overpopulated, and we live in a very beautiful city with the beach right next to us and perfect weather. Without being a social person who isn't afraid of talking to a group or individuals, you will never get the job done, because you need a voice to put in your own opinions and observations you made while going through the paperwork for the land, even for damages you have seen at the site. So the company does not end up losing more money than what they put in. Yet the most important need in this field is your proper speech with every bit of confidence you have. So you'd be able to talk to a panel at a meeting, or even tell your boss your own opinion, to even spike the chances of you getting the property before another company that is interested. An academic goal I would like to pursue would be to attend San Jose State University and earn a master's degree in kinesiology. Even though this is totally different from what I did my practicum about, I just been around sports all my life, and I want to always be there. And whenever I would get a sprained ankle, I would go to the athletic trainer and I would see what they're doing. And of course, we traveled in summer tournaments and stuff, but I might be able to use my real estate knowledge now if I ever want to invest in property in Oregon, Arizona, or the places I've been to. My foundation for success in my academic goals would have to be based on modern-day Catholic teachers teaching me to make up any missed work on my own time. There was never any time for excuses with the teachers here because they themselves had 200 papers to grade, so they were not worried about me. On the other hand, my work was to become a kinesiologist, even though this is so derailed from what my practicum was about, like I said. I have always had a love for basketball and staying active, as I would get injured along the way. Yeah, I know that this still has nothing to do with, like I said, but I just wanted to be able to pursue a job, like my grandfather said, who was my mentor, something that I loved, so day to day, I wouldn't have to dread waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning and say, oh, I don't want to go to work. I want to be able to get up and be like, oh, what am I going to do as Angela Pipkins? Because I love it. In total honesty, I honestly expected cranky adults dreading to be at work with loads of coffee mugs piled up in their desk and hearing printers just spitting out tons of white papers that I thought were just blank, but obviously they have a source to it. I was nervous and not comfortable at all when I ever thought about starting the hours because I had done no research prior to real estate investing. I only had a subtle interest, yet I experienced happy adults and busy college interns showing the expression that they love their job, which encouraged me. Everyone was so helpful in my eyes, and they were overall just in turn, and I could feel the difference from high school to a professional work area. I learned from this comparison that high school is temporary and that you get to see who weaved out of the high school funk and made it through the top 1% who wanted to do something with their lives. I loved every bit of the difference that I observed at the office. It just felt right and did not feel like a waste of time in my opinion. At first, I do admit I thought this project was totally a hoax that was not going to help me. Yeah, I really got to understand the saying, don't knock it before you try it. This was something that slapped me in the face. Now standing here, finished with the project, I'm beyond impressed because it showed me that life involves working with people, wherever you go. What I appreciated most about this experience was definitely the people that worked at my mentor's office. I say this because I'm a people person, and I am a type of person that is all for making new friends that can benefit you for the better and only push you forward. I'm so thankful that this experience set me up for success because now when I go into my first career interview, I can now beat the other 50 candidates that are waiting. I will not be discouraged or feel out of place now that I have this wonderful experience that I experienced with my mentor. Thank you.